You know this feeling. A new goal enters your mind, and suddenly everything seems possible. This time feels different. This time, you are certain you will follow through. You can already imagine the result, the stronger habit, the finished project, the better version of your life. The future feels so clear that it almost feels real. That image creates a rush of energy. Beginning feels easy because your brain is responding not only to the work, but to the possibility of transformation. You take the first step. Maybe you wake up early, begin learning, start exercising, or finally work on the idea you kept postponing. At first, every action feels meaningful. You notice the smallest improvement because the goal is new, emotionally charged, and constantly present in your mind. You begin imagining yourself as someone different, disciplined, consistent, and completely in control. But that identity is still being supported mostly by excitement. Then the goal becomes familiar. The powerful future image grows quieter, and the work begins to look less like transformation and more like repetition. Now you can see all the steps between where you are and where you want to be. What looked like one inspiring decision becomes dozens of ordinary actions. The effort continues, but the emotional reward becomes weaker. You may still be improving, yet the changes are no longer obvious enough to feel exciting. You look toward the result, but it still appears far away. The work is happening now, while the reward may take weeks, months, or even years to arrive. This is usually where the questions begin. Why don't I want it as much as before? Why is something that mattered so much becoming difficult to continue? The task may not have changed, but without the original excitement, every required step becomes more noticeable. Preparation feels heavier, waiting feels longer. At the same time, easier choices remain nearby. They ask for less effort, create less uncertainty, and offer something pleasant almost immediately. When you choose the easier option, you may call yourself lazy, weak, or incapable of discipline. But that judgment hides what is actually happening. You still care about the goal. The problem is that the meaningful path asks for effort now and offers its reward later, while the easier path answers immediately. Imagine two choices in front of you. One is meaningful but requires effort. The other is easier and offers comfort without asking you to wait. The easier option produces feedback immediately. One touch, one new signal, one pleasant distraction, and your brain receives a response before meaningful work can answer. So you tell yourself it will only take a minute, but the next reward does not arrive predictably. Sometimes it appears quickly, sometimes it makes you wait. That uncertainty creates anticipation. You are no longer responding only to what you receive. Your attention begins chasing what might appear next. Even when the reward is small, a new presentation can make it feel interesting again. The content changes, the signal moves, and attention is refreshed. Meanwhile, your important goal remains where you left it. It does not flash, move toward you, or provide instant confirmation that your effort will succeed. Your brain naturally gives extra weight to rewards available now. A smaller, immediate reward can therefore feel more compelling than a greater benefit arriving later. And when excitement disappears, you start noticing the full price of beginning. Standing up, preparing, concentrating, tolerating uncertainty, and continuing without immediate results. The easy option is attractive, not only because it feels pleasant. It also removes effort, waiting, and the possibility of failure, at least for the present moment. This creates an important conflict. You can genuinely want the long-term result, while simultaneously feeling pulled toward the easier, immediate reward. A cue captures your attention. Anticipation pulls you forward. A brief reward arrives and quickly fades. Then the next cue restarts the cycle. After repeating this pattern, it begins to feel like evidence about your character. You think the problem must be that you are simply not disciplined enough. But your attention is responding to the fastest and most noticeable signal. What captures your mind most easily is not necessarily what matters to you most. Motivation did not betray you. It was only one part of a much larger system involving effort, reward timing, novelty, attention, environment, and repetition. Once you understand that system, self-blame becomes less useful. The answer is not waiting for excitement to return. It is building one stable next step. First, stop asking how you will complete the entire journey. Ask a smaller question. What is the simplest useful action I can take next? Then remove unnecessary preparation. Put the required materials within reach. Prepare the space early. Make starting require fewer movements and fewer decisions. Give the behavior a clear cue, a time, a place, or an event that regularly leads into the action. The cue should be stable, not emotionally exciting. Move the strongest distraction away from the action area. You need less self-control when the fastest reward is no longer sitting within immediate reach. Do not wait until the entire goal is completed before recognizing progress. Give yourself visible confirmation when you begin the useful action. Record completed actions in a simple visual way. When distant results remain invisible, evidence of movement helps the brain recognize that effort is producing something. Create a minimum version for difficult days. 1 page, 1 exercise, 5 minutes, or 1 small task. It should be easy enough to protect continuity. Some days will still feel slow. That does not make the action meaningless. Consistency is not maximum performance every day. It is keeping the connection alive. And when you miss once, treat it as one event, not as proof that you have failed. One empty space does not erase every step already completed. Recovery matters more than perfection. Return at the next available opportunity before one interruption becomes the beginning of a repeated pattern. Each completed action becomes evidence. Instead of imagining that you are disciplined, you gradually begin believing it because your behavior has supplied proof. Distraction and comfort will not disappear. But when the cue, environment, and next step are prepared, temptation no longer controls every decision from the beginning. Real consistency rarely feels dramatic. Some days are energetic, some are average, and some are difficult. The feeling changes, but a possible action remains. Make the action smaller. Reduce friction. Create a clear cue. Increase
What
the
works
distance
instead
from
of motivation is a
Make
design
progress
sequence
visible.
that makes useful
That is
action
what carries
easier to
behavior
repeat.
after motivation fades. You do not need to feel completely ready before you begin. Motivation can open the door, but it cannot carry the whole journey. Build a system that makes the next useful action possible, even when the feeling is absent. You do not need to feel ready before you begin. Motivation may open the door, but a simple system carries you forward when the feeling disappears. Make the next action possible and take that step. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Beyond the Lines and continue exploring the hidden forces shaping your mind.